Hi guys, this news is almost about a year old and I just found out today because Jaipur Dialogues shared a meme on this topic and I actually disagree with them. Amruta Fadnavis, the wife of Maharashtr Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, on 11th June 2022 made a statement that prostitution should be legalized in India, according to her. And I think there is some pushback on this from the non-left and the right-wing side, and I want to explain why I agree with her, why I want prostitution to be legalized in India. As is common knowledge to all of you that sexuality is looked down upon in a very, very weird and creepy way from all Abrahamic faiths and settler colonial faiths. India, Hindu civilization, does not have that view of sex and sexuality. We have had women like Nagarvadhu Amrapali, who basically fill a vacuum in society. When there's a demand, there's a supply, and that supply will happen regardless of its legality or illegality. So as long as there are men who want to, mostly men and some women who want to skip the emotional intimacy part and jump straight into the physical intimacy aspect, regardless of how bad for mental health and long-term relationships I personally think that is for that person, you cannot possibly claim that that is going to go away simply because you make prostitution illegal, which obviously has never happened in any country in the history of mankind. But people who are disagreeing with Amruta Fadnavis on this will probably say that if you keep prostitution illegal, that discourages a lot of people from getting into it, whether as a customer or as the service provider. On the customer front, that might be true only to a certain extent, but if you do have some legitimized regulation on it, just like any other company, anyone and everyone need not be able to avail that service. So I'm talking about obviously adult men. Maybe you can make it to 20, 21 or something, not just 18. But there will always be a demand for these things for a variety of kinds of reason. Maybe the person is single or whatever. I don't need to get into the personal justifications of it. All I'm claiming is that there will always be men and a small number of women who do want to do this as customers and definitely as service providers as well. But my bigger problem is with the kind of women who get away with prostitution even in a country where prostitution is otherwise illegal. I want to get rid of that privilege for those women, because you see there are already OnlyFans and stuff going on Instagram. So many people are running their business of live adult chats, etc., live video calls, etc. All that is legal. All that cannot be cracked down upon because it can happen on a person-to-person level. It does not have to be an organized business model in the first place. So you see, all those women, they have an advantage. They have a promotional team, they have good photographers, they have good makeup artists, they have good light guys, and maybe in a lot of cases they actually speak pretty good English, so they can give off the vibe of coming from a socio-economic background, which might be more of an appeal to the potential customer. But none of these advantages are there with the person who is indulging in prostitution on the street. What their life is like is getting harassed by police all day and all night, forever, for the entirety of their career. I want prostitution to stop being an illegitimate source of income for the police and also a source of tax revenue for the government. Now, I wouldn't say that tax it so much, regulate it so much that it becomes impossible and people again get to black prostitution again, the black market of prostitution again. No, keep it liberal, keep it sane, keep it available, but regulate it and have a legitimate government oversight of it. That is how prostitution happened during the time of Chanakya. You have pages after pages of description of legal prostitution in Arthashastra. And as you all know, I'm a huge fan of the Arthashastra and Chanakya himself. So that is my justification, drawing from Indic epistemology itself. Let them legally earn, let them pay taxes. And they are consenting to put their bodies through those things. And you could argue that's no one should have to put themselves through those things, but they are in such a position that they are having to put themselves through those things, often because of child trafficking, different kinds of human trafficking, etc. Let's have a legal streamline for all of these things so that the trafficking and the lack of consent, those things don't happen. And lots of people put their bodies through things that you personally might think that they should not put themselves through, like bodybuilding. I personally think no one should participate in bodybuilding. Some people might argue that's the case with boxing or MMA. So when someone consensually is taking part in a physical activity which seems crazy to you personally or crazy to me personally, that is not a legitimate enough reason to prevent them from doing it. Now let's check out what exactly Amruta Fadnavis said. And also, with the amount of prostitution that already goes on in Mumbai, that out of which hafta vasuli is done by goons and mafia and police, if all that is legalized, that can become maybe half of Maharashtra's tax revenue. So, Amruta Fadnavis, wife of former Chief Minister, okay, he was former back then, now he's the Chief Minister again, on Saturday demanded that the government should recognize the profession of sex work and work towards the welfare of commercial sex workers. Speaking at an event, she said, "Like other professionals, prostitutes should also get respect and be able to live with dignity. The government must accept it as a profession." Now, you can't obviously give them as much respect or dignity as every other profession or some other profession arbitrarily. All I'm saying is they should not have to live their lives as a criminal hiding from law. Amruta also inaugurated a health checkup camp for commercial sex workers and also distributed cards for Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, which promotes savings for the education of girl children among parents. Now, this report from Punekar News shared some statements of hers which I actually disagree with. She said, "I would like to tell the government that prostitution should be treated with same respect as other businesses. It should be accepted as a business. In countries like Germany, prostitutes have a respectable place. Prostitutes also pay taxes in these countries. The same place can be found in India if we all come together. I support this decision." Yeah, there maybe one state can legalize it. It does not have to be a nationwide thrusting down of legalities. If different states have different ethos, they can go ahead with it and collect triple the tax. Okay, here are the things she mentions. I am going to be against this if she says the government should do those things. Women in prostitution should undergo daily medical checkups. Yes, they should, out of their own pocket. You need to take care of your health. Therefore, no matter how hasty, women in the prostitution business should get their medical examination. There is a risk of getting some diseases in the business you are in. Identify that risk. Also check yourself regularly. The Bharatiya Janata Party will support you. I don't think the government should support them. Don't forget to save your kids, educate your daughters, save for your kids. Yes, good. It will definitely help you. Old age home is needed in an old age. Yes, we will do our best, but don't forget to save for your kids too. The government should not do its best. The government should legalize it and get the hell away from it. We will provide yoga classes wherever you want in your area of Budhwar Pet. I don't know who this we is. Who should be? Everyone needs to do yoga. If you are all ready, I will appoint a good instructor. Who is this I? On what personal capacity is she saying this? This is what I don't get. I will appoint a good instructor to take your yoga session. If you do this yoga at home, you will not get any disease. In any case, you will stay fit. We will provide yoga classes wherever you want in your area of Budhwar Pet. Okay, as long as the government does not get pestered into doing these things, I'm all for it. If any of her NGOs or BJP as an NGO wants to do these things, fine. Because if they keep fit, there's lesser pressure on the public healthcare system. So let me know what are your agreements or disagreements on this issue.